Roundtable Podcast. I'm your boy Corey G at Small Armz Danny at Trey Speed and the graphic gangster himself, Cole fucking Susak. Roundtable brought to you by MaxEffortMuscle.com. Danny was so motivated. He's got this bat between his legs.
Yeah.
Whoa! And we were talking about topics because we are so prepared on the show, what we were going to talk about. And Danny jumped up and ran inside to grab this book. So I believe it's going to be amazing. Danny, fucking take it away.
All right. Well, in theory, hopefully this delivers for you guys. But this is a book that I've been reading. I forget who recommended it, but this is about Henry Ford. He wrote the book and everything. Obviously, he's a boss.
I own a Ford now. First time in my life.
Yeah. Shout out Broncos.
Shout out Bronco. It's fucking dope. It is.
I didn't realize how much of a impact he had at the beginning as far as like actually making the car itself.
All of it, bro.
That was crazy. So
he created an entire industry, basically.
Mm-hmm. So
and the assembly line.
And
that was him.
Line. Yeah.
Like that didn't exist. Yeah, that didn't exist before Henry Ford. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Dan.
No, that's cool.
Stealing your thunder.
No, I was just gonna say like they're literally talking about like when he made the Model A. So like think about what it took to get to the Model T. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is what everyone knows, right?
Yeah. So like his whole MO, I guess, is to basically come up with a bulletproof design before even beginning anything. So versus just jumping straight in and then just kind of hoping it's going to work out sort of thing. So it's a little bit different.
So like the 20th design is the one that ran, roughly. Yeah.
So
I know my ABCs.
But the one thing that stood out to me recently, I guess this one sentence kind of hits on it. But leisure and work bring different results. So, so that one kind of like hit. I've been tossing that one around the past few days. And then kind of like the follow up to that is, if a man wants leisure and gets it, then he has no cause to complain. But he cannot have both leisure and the results of work. So
it's pretty banger. What's your interpretation, Danny?
What's my interpretation?
Great podcast question, Cole.
Well, I guess
Thanks.
the other part of that too that he it's funny because he talks about it. He like relates to like, what's your horsepower? You know what I mean? Are you 10 horsepower or are you 20 horsepower? Like back in the day, that was a lot. So,
dude, I'm like 100 horsepower, but I'm a bored out engine. Like my shit's like, like it wasn't made to be like, but it's
So he's like
triple now.
A 10 horsepower engine will not pull as much as a 20. The man who keeps brain office hours limits his horsepower. So obviously we've talked about that one over and over and over again, right? So we get here between 8 and 9 a.m. every day, but like we leave it between 3 and 4, but like we're still doing stuff most of the time later at night and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking about, and like that's what I think about like how we win, I guess.
Start back in the first quote. Reread it again, Danny. Let's unpack that. We can break it down.
So leisure.
Most people might not even know like what you're getting at with that.
Leisure and work bring different results. So the first thing I think about is the clock in, clock out thing. Like you get what you put into it is kind of like what I'm thinking about. I guess.
What do you think about? It's almost like, for instance, like when you guys started working with me, then you see like, okay, what's the expectation to get a certain result? But I think some people maybe they don't really understand that that's not what's going to get them there. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's like sometimes if you don't experience it, if you only know work hard is this because you've never even seen it, that's where I think sometimes, like, that's why it's hard for me to, like, explain it until you feel what it is to go,
I guess
pressure,
like,
deliver, down, up, constant, you know what I mean? So it's like you start to learn that pace, which we've talked about before, but how do I explain that to people that have never experienced it? Because that's what that's saying.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I thought of, even at like Muscle Farm 2013 and 2015 when I was a sales rep, I didn't think that way. It was more of the clock in, clock out because like on the weekend I wasn't thinking about
because it wasn't your company.
Yeah, well, I wasn't thinking about who I was going to visit next week. I wasn't strategizing or thinking about some overall plan, like on the weekend at least, right? During the week was a different story, but then especially when I got into the corporate world, it's so black and white as far as clocking in, clocking out, and then like you don't ever have to worry about anything anymore. So, but I like it here because especially like in Max Effort, like we each have our own silo or silos that we know are going to impact the overall business, and we're going to do whatever it takes to, make that impact.
Sure.
So
good, Cole. Trey, what do you got?
The first thing that comes to my mind is the Drake quote from the song 0 to 100 real fucking quick.
Of course it is.
That's my interpretation of it because.
No, please tell me the quote.
In my experience, because now this will be year 5 of my business career, whatever. Whenever first starting out, it's literally like you come here, you have so much to do, and the gas is on, right? And what most people would do is they'd go from 9 to 5, they would go 70 miles an hour, and then they would immediately go back to 0 whenever they were done. Because they're thinking, like, now it's not my responsibility. I don't have to be accountable. I can do this stuff tomorrow or maybe, like, the next week or whenever, like, it should be done, hypothetically, right? Where here, it's like we get here, we're already running at 50 miles an hour. Now we jump the gun. We go to 50 to 100 in like 2.3 seconds, and then whenever we're letting off the gas, we're still cruising at 60. So it never really stops.
But I think that that the way you explained it as you jump in and it's going, and you're either going with it or you're gonna break, right? And then it's like, I think what happens, that becomes your new normal. So then it's always going, but you handle it differently. You put yourself, like, efficiency level in a way to handle all that, and then, like you said, your low end is still going so fast that it feels slow, but it's actually not slow. That's what I try to explain to people. Like, I feel like the baseline keeps rising up, so we might look like we're doing it easier, but it doesn't mean we're getting, like, less accomplished, and that's where I think happens over time. And then when you talk to somebody that doesn't understand that, it's like their expectation seems like a lot lower.
There's a huge gap.
There's a big gap, for sure.
But there is a transition period for sure. And then your work capacity, as you learn how to be able to handle different situations and scenarios, that work capacity just like grows and grows and grows.
And I'll throw it to Trey in a second because I want to hear what he has to say. But I had that transition from personal training to muscle farm. So when I was going from PT, just personal training in the gym, which was, I had to be there at certain times, but it was still closer to a clock in, clock out, right? Because I was still had to be there at a time. Defined time with somebody to make my money. And then I got a little bit of freedom online, but I still could shut it down. I could not shut anything down at MP. Like, it was unshutdownable.
So dig into
it was unshutdownable.
Dig into that feeling though every day. Like, what was it? Because obviously we talked about it before, with like the high stress, the raising capital, all that stuff.
Yeah, because when you put in startup capital, investors, growth, never being able to meet the demand because of the growth or the money, but excited because you're seeing it on TV. And it's like it just never – and then the international business at the level it was, it literally never slept. And so there was something – so I had to then learn, like, okay, that'll wait till tomorrow because the list is so big that I literally cannot get it done. It's just, like, impossible. So that was – and I remember Pyatt telling me, he's like, gee, this is like a different animal, bro. He's like – and I remember him saying this. He goes, you might not even have time to work out. And I was like, whoa, that's not going to happen. And then I remember telling him I'd do it at fucking 2 or 3, 4 in the morning, even though we weren't doing it at that time. But I remember saying that to him because that's how important it is. And that was my role, too, is to be that guy, right? Yep. But I remember him saying, like, what we're going to attempt here, and I was obviously on board, like, is so difficult. To start a business at 0 idea to take it to 100 million, good, bad, or indifferent, the amount of people that are able to do that is 0.000000, like one. It's extremely low percent. Even to go to 7 figures, 8 figures, you go 9, whole different level. So he was like, that's going to take a different level of dedication, stress, chaos is probably the best way to explain it. And yeah, so I was thrown into it and then just had to adapt. And so did Rachel, and so did everyone. So what you guys get is a little bit more of a refined version of that because we don't have that other type of unnecessary chaos that I had in that business. But we got the other part hasn't really changed because that stuff can't really change. It's that other part that's so stressful, maybe even unnecessary, and just a little much. But that's what you're trying to do when you're trying to do something like that. Because if every week I was raising capital and we're spending as fast as it's coming in, but then I've got to go to the next dollar, that changes the way I definitely interact with everybody, because I'm just not even the same guy. It's hard.
So would you say that, like, with Muscle Farm especially, like, did you learn, like, really how to compartmentalize stuff? Or, like, how do you...
I don't think I did a very good job.
Well, because
I think I was a fucking mess.
I just think of, like, now there's, like, how many things you're involved in.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's quite a bit. So, like, how do you
on.
manage that so something doesn't slip through?
Yeah, well, I think stuff still slips through. I think that once again, though, I think the baseline's elevated to such a point that the stuff I think's not even done well is still done well.
Yeah.
You know, I think that what's interesting about going through that, and you guys are going to have that version of this and then everything else you do, right? It's like that'll be bigger, smaller, whatever, but you at least have a baseline of, all right, that was this big of a business. This is how we operated. I know that's our baseline. So now I have at least that perspective for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And then, so that's why I think I'll handle things differently as the CEO here, and hopefully can lead better because of that. But it's I'm definitely better at compartmentalizing now because I just know it's going to be there. And I also believe I'm going to always figure it out.
Yeah.
If I'm coming to you guys and I tell you we're done, I ain't got it figured out, then you guys better go somewhere else anyway. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, because I figured a lot of shit out of my day. You guys have seen some of it. That was a long rant. Trey, can you talk?
Yeah. What was the? We gotta rewind it back.
Yeah, please go ahead.
What was the quote again?
Leisure and work bring different results.
So like you guys talked about like the pace of work and everything like that. So like when I hear that quote, I like compare it directly to just like actual relaxation
mm-hmm.
and actual like work in a sense. And so like you were talking, so like what's the? I guess it's like how we said that like you can never like shut it off, but for all of us though, like you said that we get to the office at X time and we leave at X time, but like the reality is though, like I feel like none of us ever actually shut it completely off. And like just like to tie it all back, like that's kind of like where Cole was saying like our 60% or whatever is like nothing, you know what I mean? Like that might, like our 60% is still like crazy compared to the average person
for sure,
but like to us it doesn't feel like anything like at all though.
But I think to your point, it comes back to that quote that I read a while ago about where recreation, leisure, work is so intermixed.
Yeah.
So Trey, when you're on talking about NFTs, interacting, working on it, that doesn't feel like work to you, does it?
No.
Even when you're editing stuff doesn't feel like work to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that's a place that you have to be because that's part of your job, right? But the reality is, it's not like you're editing fucking basket weaving.
It's not like,
it's something you also like to do.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you're about to squat 500 pounds. Shout out Trey.
Undercover jacked.
Signed up for a meat,
Fuck
motherfucker. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, but my point is that that's why I think it feels better. It's people that are upset and that are forced to leisure is because they really don't like what they do. In my opinion,
avoiding.
That's why I think that right there probably means something different, and why not effortlessly but with ease we're able to do that amount of stuff because I'm not involved in anything I dislike.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. Even the investing, the NFT stuff that we're working on, the thing with Jason, the stuff with Joe, everything I do I enjoy to a certain point. They all have aspects of things that I might dislike at points, like paperwork. Anything paperwork related I fucking hate. But the reality is, I like all of it, and that's why I don't think it really feels overwhelming. It does at times, but very small amount.
Yeah, and also the fact that like our base skill, like me learning design, Danny learning email and stuff like that, you making the first pre-workout, Trey learning how to operate the camera, that was the hardest part that you have to overcome. But now our skill level at that stuff's also high. Our system in efficiency is way fucking higher. So that's why I can make a dope graphic in 45 minutes or less than that, you know?
Yeah, facts. No, that's true. And then I can, from start to finish, bring a product to reality in a couple months. You know what I mean? Before, it took a half a year.
Exactly. At the beginning, everything took so much fucking time. It was way harder mentally to even figure out that stuff because there's so many other things. But once you got the base product done, then you could start thinking about like, how do I now take this to 100 million and build this shit?
Yeah, you're right.
Same thing.
And that's why I believe. Well, once again, it's just like the building blocks. They just build on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe part of it is adding skills in things, but really somewhat mastering part of it first before you, because a lot of people, I used to hear multiple streams of income. That's like something people, like rich guys, talk about, right? And I used to think like, I just want my one stream of income to like support me and like my job first.
Mm-hmm.
Now that entry point was like 8 years. You know, like that was a long time. That just personal training from 98, 99 to MP, which is 2008.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. There's a lot of other stuff going on. So if you figure like Cole, you've been in the game 5 years. Danny's like at that 7, 8. Trey's now what, 3, right? Trey, that you've been here. It's like, think about like just mastering what you guys are doing right now for 8. Then you add to, so like I think that gets overlooked in my story sometimes because I've had so much other shit happen since 2008.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
it's a lot.
I think that sentence too, when I see it, I feel like it's definitely like maybe just part of the times he lived in with the early 1900s as part of it, but it almost looks like he's like treating them as like mutually exclusive. Like you can have one without the other, right? Like basically how I think about it now is like, we were just fucking off about the Armz Army earlier, right? Kyle plugged it in, found a Star Wars website, and now we have a complete write-up. Like there's like funny stuff like that, but like that was just us. Like we like to do arms.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and then we like to create fun stuff. So I mean that was like a perfect example of the mixture of the two.
But it's like once again, stuff that's at work can be your leisure too.
Yes.
It's the
enjoyment.
It's the mixture.
Because
people,
I'll say I get the most inspiration whenever I'm like not actually creating anything, and I'm watching like movies. I'm watching like Star Wars and
You're
shit
not like
that.
trying intentionally.
I'm not. Yeah.
Right?
Or if I'm scrolling on Twitter, dude, I'm connecting with so many people. Do you think it's like that's a strategy because I'm thinking like, oh, I could potentially connect with this guy. He could help with this business. He could do whatever. Like it never stops. That's why Michaela's like, she like works the 9 to 5. She never relates, and I'm like, I'm never off. Like my brain's always working. I'll see something and I'll go, oh, I could add that.
Yep.
And then the next day I'm like doing it.
Well, but once again, the base skill set's there, Cole. That if you see something, you can actually work on it and make it. That's the thing is you already spent the time to get that. So you're like, oh, I can make that. That's fucking sick. You know what I mean? And that's also, I don't know.
I was writing arm workouts on the track today. Just saying. Right after my lunch, I'm writing arm workout names. Just saying.
Rachel asked me the other day why I think I have so much to say. She's always.
How do you respond to that?
I go, well, no, this was a real thought. She goes, because I was like, hey, I want to work on this other book, the Squat Everyday book. She's like, how do you have that much stuff to say? And I'm like, Rach, I like absolutely love what I do so much, and I'm so in it that the aspects of it, I'm like as deep as it can be. So I end up, the immersion of certain things are so deep, squatting being one of them, that I feel like at this point, because now I think I started squatting every day in 2014, 13. I mean, you're talking, it's almost a decade now. So I do feel like, and after that last squat, which I got second, but whatever, well, that's another story, that I can talk about it and go like expert level almost. So it's like, once again, people are going to see the book come out, but I missed, 100 front squats the first year because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then, all that deep immersion, which then allows me to have a lot to say. But there's a lot of silos like that happening. And so I just thought that was a funny question the other day when she said that. I mean, I literally want to have a whole library of all this shit that I've dug deep in over the years. Go ahead. I'm going to bring out that quote again because I can't say it enough, but go ahead.
So do you want to go a different direction? What kind of going off the same quote, but
sure, Danny.
Yeah, the second part of the sentence. If a man wants leisure and gets it, then he has no cause to complain, but he cannot have both leisure and the results of work.
Gary Vee said this all the time in early content. I'm not saying you're a bad guy. I'm just saying, don't complain if you're not willing to put in the work. He said it all the time. Like, he's a fucking maniac, right? So what's happened to him is a product of that. And that's what I used to say, like, if I'm willing to do what I'm willing to do, that doesn't mean you, not you, but metaphorically, you are willing to do that. So don't complain when you don't get my result.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I don't feel bad for getting that result. I don't feel bad for one fucking second what I drove in here today, because I know what I did the 4 hours before I got in that. And I know what I did the fucking 24 hours before that and the fucking 20 years before that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, I think that's the thing. And if you're willing to put it in, you'll get that result. But are you willing to do it long enough?
Mm-hmm.
That is the fucking key. And I think people get entitled because they want the leisure. They don't realize if you're going deep enough with what you like to do and you're willing to put that time in, you can get the leisure. I have more leisure now than I've ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's compartmentalized, you know, and still with a fucking side of vegetables of I'm still working on shit I like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's right there, I think, a huge part of it.
For sure.
Yeah. The key though, like, is how you said that you had to put in like the 20 years though, like where the time it's like
Yes.
it's just like the actually consistently putting in like that time, like over years and years and years.
So
Because,
many years.
Yeah. Because so like last night actually, I had a call with someone from like Singapore about NFTs.
That's so good.
And
Love that.
Yeah, and he had he asked he was like, okay, so like what about the project though, like in the NFT space right now, essentially, like a lot of people are just flipping NFTs. They're not like actually holding them long term. So like what are you going to do essentially to, you know, not run into that? And I was like, well, you're not going to not run into that. All you can do with the project is just consistently deliver for 5, 10, 15 years.
And continued utility too, Trey, right?
Exactly, because the NFT space is so new. It's only been around for like a year or two. So like the reality is these projects actually haven't delivered over time. But so what's going to be important is like 5, 10 years from now, who's still delivering.
Yeah.
That's really what's going to matter.
And if you have that long game like you guys do,
Or even what projects are still like lasting.
Exactly,
What's going
yeah.
to be around.
Yeah.
yeah, what's the blue chip stocks? What's the blue chip NFTs
Yeah, but how-
outside of Bored Fucking Ape? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
but like the thing though is like Bored Ape though has only been around for 1 year though.
Shit's so
So
new.
like people are comparing that as a quote unquote blue chip, but what are the stock blue chips? Apple,
They're
Amazon,
70 years old.
Microsoft. How old are those? How long
So
did it
old.
take those to establish the brand that they've established? Like the reality is like
Great
this
point.
shit has to be done consistently over like 10, 15, 20 years if that's what you really want it to become.
Your combined age is still less than me, or right at. You guys got all kinds of time. I mean, it's just the fucking truth. Like,
I still got a lot of life to live.
So if I'm looking at like investing in you guys, not directly like I was able to, but like on the market, I'm gonna say, Trey, are you 22 yet?
22.
Yeah, and Kyle, Kyle's 21.
Shout out.
22. All right, Cole's 25. So it's like you're like these guys. So a good example is when I went to Joe, I was looking at another guy who was 60, and I was like, well, Joe's the same age as me, so he's probably gonna have similar interests and be in the game as long as I'm going to be managing my money. So it's like if I'm looking at a new industry, very talented, motivated guys that are settling in, it's a fucking huge, huge advantage I think you guys have because of the way you're talking about it. These guys are long haul guys. You know what I mean? And that right there would make me want to buy your NFTs just from watching you guys online if I got that. Which I'm hoping like clips like this will help that.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Shout out.
Shout out. You could run that on Varsity Creatives channel if you want. That's
No
a
free
commercial.
shout-outs.
No free shout outs. So I think that like is something that you guys, because once again, it's like the stock market and this just started.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. That's
So
you
just
guys,
think.
you guys are
think.
JP Morgan.
So just think if you pick the right ones.
Huge, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. When every one of these are worth like $1 million. How many Ethereum is that?
A shit ton.
Hopefully,
225.
hey, hopefully by then 1 Ethereum.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
That'd be banger. That'd be banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might change my name. You guys were, I mean, you guys.
Change my name.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I registered the domain. I own CoreyGFitness.eth. So
Yeah.
Trey's got that.
so whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
That's amazing.
So good. So good.
All right. I think it's time for a break.
Okay.
So we have to take a break. So we're going to go commercial. So we'll be back in like 30 seconds.
All right.
The Roundtable podcast is brought to you by Max for Muscle. With us is the director of sports performance, Tyler Treadway. Treadway, take it away.
Danny, what do you have over there?
Oh, some tri-blend protein.
What flavor is that?
S'mores.
Boom!
Whoa.
Now with the NSF certification, college coaches, if you have a sports team that you are in charge of getting their nutrition right, we know that your players aren't eating right, so that's why we went out and got our S'mores Tri-Blend Protein NSF certified so that it's safe, so your kids are getting the nutrients they need to recover, perform on the field, on the court, whatever it is, we got you covered. If you need it, you can reach out to me directly, and I will help your athletes order it for you. For your program, we have all your needs here at Max Effort Muscle.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Treadway. Back to the show.
We're back. Great commercial, Cole.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna read this quote again. It just keeps coming up because we're living a lot of this, right? I'm gonna read one more time by LP Jacks. We'll call
Shout
him
out.
LP Jacked. I don't know who this guy is. All right. A master in the art of living draws no sharp distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his education and his recreation. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence through whatever he is doing and leaves others to determine whether he is working or playing. To himself, he always appears to be doing both.
I love the leaves the other part of that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like,
Yeah.
when people are watching the stuff on social media, it looks like we're just fucking off all the time,
Yep.
which isn't true, but it is true a lot too. But once again, that's up to their determination.
Yeah. I would say our promo skills, it might look like we're having fun, but that's just because we're so fucking good at it.
It's almost
Like,
easy.
for real.
That's true. Anything else in that book? Book of tricks over there, Dave? What else are you getting from Henry Ford?
Let me see here. Well, one thing I was gonna follow up on what kind of Cole was alluding to was when you guys aren't feeling creative.
Yeah,
So-
I have a lot of those.
So
times, for
obviously
sure.
you go through those spells or whatever, but like so when that happens, obviously you're not going to keep trying to intentionally find out what creative thing can you make, but like what are some of the sources or outlets you turn to try to like create that spark?
I think like what Cole said is watching things, like basically doing things that are enjoyable, like watching funny movies, looking at art, reading books of guys. You're like, oh man, I fuck with that dude. Like, let me learn more. Like, that's where I got a ton of creative thoughts when I started listening to all Nipsey's interviews. When I used to listen to Pac's interviews, even like reading more about Kanye, like creative people that have their own lane. Like Nipsey said, like there's no traffic in your own lane. It's yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I kept trying to remind myself, like, if I can stay authentic, if I'm really into it, like, where can I, like, find stuff that'll spark ideas that then I send Danny 8 audios, but I might not send him any audio for a month or 2 months, you know what I mean? Or I might do a bunch of articles, or, like, Daily Fires I was struggling with for a little while. I didn't even do any for, like, a month, but then I can do 4 in a row quick. Like, it doesn't, you're not really entitled to any day or time. That's why I think if personal development is ever present, I think, and you have uninterrupted time in the morning, that's why the Lunge and Learn has so many different facets of why it's so good. I think it gives you a chance at it more often because you're getting that time to yourself, which a lot of people dislike. I actually need and love, and that gives you a chance to be creative more often, I think. Because as I started doing those things in my life, I realized that the creation of things came easier because they were more available to me. That's my interpretation.
Yeah.
What do you think, Trayvon?
Yeah, so
Ooh, what do you got, Trey? Hold on. Go ahead. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to listen.
okay. Yeah. So I mean, so like that too, but can you rewind it again?
Yeah, go ahead. Rewind what?
No, what are you saying?
What'd I say?
my brain went blank.
Oh,
Like
Go ahead, Cole. Pick it up.
So, what do you do whenever you're not feeling like saucy? Like you're
Okay,
feeling
yeah,
like
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're feeling
No,
like
we're
you're
back.
Hey,
like
I forgot
I needed
to
a
Trey.
reminder.
so like so you know
I needed a little reminder. All right, so
yeah. So hold on. So whenever you're not feeling Trey Speedish and you go like, do you go like Trayvon the air, or sometimes you just go Trayvon?
yeah. So I forgot. I remember what I was gonna say now. So
Okay, good.
So to agree with both of you guys, both of those things, like I love doing those. Like either it's watching a movie, something like mindless, or like playing a video game, reading a book, something like that. I love those things too. But also though, like for creative stuff, honestly, like literally just taking like just a straight break away from it all.
Yep.
And like not even thinking about it at all. That's probably like for me like what actually like helps the most, because like then if I'm not even thinking about it all or something, then you might be like just randomly in the fucking shower or something, and then you remember like, oh yeah, there's this one thing you could do, and then like you just write down in your fucking notes and come back to it again. And then like, but like for me though, literally just like stepping away from it.
How about like smoke a bowl, watch cartoons?
Yeah, that's cool too. But I mean,
Just
that
fucking
does.
with you.
Yeah, I don't like to do that though. Like to like sit down and like think of an idea.
Yeah, I know.
So the way I think
I was
about
trying to be
this,
funny.
It was funny.
It was kind of funny. Go
It was
ahead.
still funny. Yeah.
so the way I think about this is our homie Brian Peters, shout out Peters. You know,
Shout out Peters.
his stoicism rant on how people need to have different faces and masks
Yeah,
they
I
can
love
put
that.
on. I usually find myself there's like I can go from being the graphics guy, right?
Mhm.
Whenever I get tired of that and shit's not hitting, I just go, oh, now I'm the clothing designer.
Mm.
So I'm now like the Susac
Yeah.
with Dier, right? And then if that's like not hitting and I get burned out of that, then I go, oh, now I'm the fucking NFT Mount Rushmore guy.
Whoa.
Then I'll go, oh shit, maybe NFT's not hitting now. Now I'm ultra fucking jacked. Cole, the
Yes.
trainer guy.
Yeah.
So it's going through those cycles.
The
Like
4 a.m.
sometimes,
crew.
yeah. Like it's just like putting my focus on some different avenue that will still help everything that's going on. You know.
I think that's awareness of the personality too, Cole, which is because you've had a lot of time with yourself to realize who this guy is. You've been doing things for a long time, like to lean on that, because I have the same thing. Like, you know what? I need to be in my trainer bucket right now because the development bucket ain't there. So go deeper there. Be creative there. If that flowing, now I can move back to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with that a lot. I like that.
Because there's sometimes where like
That's a
making
really
like
smart
making
thing.
graphics, I'm like I don't want to do this. Like I'm like I get to the point where I'm so tired of it. I'm like I'm more than a graphics guy. So then I'll go look at clothing. I'm like I'm now a clothing designer. Like that's me. So
I like it though. I mean, because you're just leaning on stuff that can get moving, because something's gonna be smooth.
yeah.
You just got to figure out what you're on.
And it's just like a different avenue. I mean, the creating like social graphics and like all that stuff is in the same silo as making clothing designs, but it's a completely different operation and way of thinking.
I just think making gear's fun too.
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean?
when one of my goals is basically anything that's in my wardrobe, like I made it. Like
I fuck
that's
with that.
that's the true
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, I like that. I either am wearing stuff that we've made or stuff that's inspiring me. That's pretty much the two. Like, well, these shorts have nothing to do with that, but this shirt does, because this is Nipsey's, and then the T-shirt I'm wearing is my homie that owns that distillery in Denver. So like, I just showing love to him. So it's like, I think that a lot of people maybe unintentionally do this, but I've always intentionally done this. And I was thinking about this the other day. Rachel mentioned this something too, and I think it comes from my great grandma, which I've never even probably talked about this. She displayed all this cool shit at her house when I was a little kid. So my mom would take me there. She died when she was like probably like 98, but I was probably like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years old or 8 years old. I was young. Well, I would go to her house, and she collected all these unique things. And she traveled. She was one of my only family members that traveled the world besides my grandfather in the war. And I could go, like, even though it would be like we'd go to grandma's for an hour and it'd be kind of boring, but I could just get caught up in looking at all the shit she had there, like the knickknacks and the things she collected and the pictures and being in Rome and being here. And she always had like elaborate jewelry. And she was just like a cool, they called her Cora. She was just a cool lady.
Yeah.
And so I think that, I don't know that she did that for motivation stuff, but she always had stuff around, almost like, not like pack rat level, but just, I don't know, just always shit was like displayed. So as I started collecting baseball cards and the little figurines and like players that players that I was collecting were giving me motivation. I think it all kind of started there. And so then if everything that's going on around me represents something or reminds me of something, just like music does or just like art can, I think I started doing that with like a lot of stuff. Maybe it was intentional, maybe it was unintentional, but it started becoming more intentional as I got older. And I think that that's something that I think continues that process of being creative, being inspired. Like, you have to have it in front of you all the time. You know what I mean? And I think wearing stuff that you made is part of that.
Big time.
Because you're like, wait, I found that hat. I'm the one to put the design on it. You know, like, in that you take, maybe you don't take it for granted, but I mean, we do it all the time now, but it still represents. You know what I mean?
It's also, I think about it as like any piece I make or whatever, it's a reminder of like what was going on at that time. So even like how we went to the Rolex store and we got that book,
Yeah.
I put that book on my TV, so I always think about that time. Like my end goal
Well,
is
and
to,
I gave that to you. I made that on purpose for that.
One of the goals is to have like anything that's hanging up or any piece I'm wearing, there's a story behind that.
Yeah.
Because that's where the real sauce is.
Yeah, because life's really about experiences.
And then, like, 10 years from now, I can pull back on, like, what was going on at the time, where I was at in my career, what was going on. Like, that's some, like, cool shit. So I'm thinking about that stuff, too, in the future.
Well, because I think reflecting and that being present, you being present, but also reflecting and having that stuff around, like, all of that is so key to the overall thing that it's really the mountain we're all trying to climb in our own way, right? It takes all of it, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, the intention to attempt to be successful and do what you love to do is literally a lifelong process. And it takes all of these little things to get there. And so if you're not intentionally doing those things, because like I've explained to a lot of people, like, it takes all of it. Because you might hit something easy here and there, but none of this shit is really that easy. I mean, it's just not. And that's why some people want to go towards the leisure.
Yeah. It's all up to you.
It's all up to you. Literally all up to you. I want to shout out this girl named Ella that messaged me. I sent it to Danny, and I was telling Cole about it, and I'll send it to you, Trey. It was it's a classmate of AG's. She's a soccer player at Granville. She hit me up, and she said, I was in a car wreck, and I had a concussion, so I couldn't train. And so the only thing I could do was podcasts and books. And I know her mom, she was actually, I think, an Olympic alternate in swimming, so she's a beast. And her dad runs races and stuff, so they're a fitness family for sure, but I don't know Ella, from around town or whatever. And she reached out and she said, I just need you to understand how impactful the book was, the How to Build Confidence Win in Life, that it made me, really think about what I want with my life. And she said this, the stories that you told made me feel like I was there. And I thought that, and she listened to the audio and read it both. It sounded like, she said, I feel like I was climbing in the back door of the car when I was getting gas to go to the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, it was really impactful for me because it means that it's for everybody. Because when I'm getting chirping like that, it's not just some musclehead, which shout out all muscleheads, I'm a musclehead. It's not just people in my initial demo. It's somebody from town I don't know in a whole different age group, a whole different gender that got something from my crazy ass. And I just told her like how much it meant to me, because then it just reminds me to keep doing these things because they are impacting people just like us doing this show, right? And so that was like, I just, I don't know if she'll ever hear this or whatever, but just when people are impacting you, like, throw a line out at them, because as motivated as I am, that's part of the oxygen to keep it going.
For sure.
That and her going, I'm sure, out of her comfort zone to reach out to say those things on a direct message was impactful to me, maybe as impactful to keep going like the information was to her. You know what I mean? So it was just really cool. So it's like that's and there's people that are inspired by each one of you guys that listen to this show. So you guys should reach out to any of us and say, hey, that thing you said, this did that. Like, and I'm trying to do a better job of that, whether it's with you guys, other people I look up to. Like when I hit up ET the other day to send him a book, I was like, bro, you've been helping me be motivated for years. Like, I might not listen to ET stuff for months or a year, and then I might listen to 2 videos that I've listened to 100 times, by the way. Like, when I made the transition from Muscle Farm to doing, Corey G Fitness and then in the Max, I listened to this one ET video almost every fucking day for, like, months, the UOU, which, by the way, he just dropped a book called that. It just makes so much sense. But I remember it's like a 7-minute video. Every day. He gave it out for free. Every day I listened to it. Because I was in that mind, and I needed it in front of me every day then. Because I was brushing off the dust. I was licking my wounds. I was like, I owe it to myself to say fuck that and go to this now and create the life I've always wanted, the authentic life, which is what we're all living in right now, right, in our own way. So it's like that was like that kind of shit's important, man. But I just wanted to shout out Ella because that was like super meaningful to me, and that's like passing it on, right? And I think that if people are inspiring you should reach out, because I think maybe some people go, they're so big and they're not gonna see it or whatever. They might not see it. What happens if they do see it? And because of that, I thought, you know what? I told Cole this morning. You guys so young, you don't really remember Oprah probably. Well, maybe you know who she is. But I'm like, I want to be in Oprah's book club. I think that's my new idea. So now she still has it on iTunes. I'm pretty sure it still exists. Now she doesn't have her show anymore or whatever. She has one on Netflix. But I haven't done any research on it. But my plan is now to get the book in Oprah's book club. Shout out, Danny. Just letting you know.
Hilarious.
Fucking amazing. But why not?
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, I think Oprah will fuck with me. Shout out, Oprah.
Give you the shot.
Yeah, give me the shot, Oprah. I'm ready. Put me in. All right. Somebody else want to talk? No? Are we done?
My mind's racing. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Good.
Yeah.
Trey? Anything else?
Do we have a quick Small Arms says segment?
That was kind of it.
Yeah. Oh, that was it? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I guess my input and like what I do if I feel like my head's gonna explode or like, I mean, I'm not required to be as creative for like graphics, photos, whatever, but like mine's, I guess, similar to Trey. I try to not listen to anything and like go on a walk or something like that.
You went on a walk yesterday. I almost hit you.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
I was pulling out. I'm like, what do you? I thought he needed something. I'm like,
Yeah.
Danny, what? He's like, I'm just going on a walk. I'm like, oh, okay.
Be right back. be right back. Yeah. But no, it does make a huge difference. That and then like, I mean, the movies and shit, but like sci-fi stuff. Like that, just it's like completely random and different, and then you can just turn everything off.
I think just laughing helps.
Yeah,
Like
watch it.
literally just watching the GIFs in the graphics, part of where it intermixes, like the shit we were doing yesterday with Vern Troyer. That shit was hilarious. And it literally brightened up my day.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know that the promotion's doing that great. But the reality is, like, it was just fun to, like, come up with, watch the videos and do.
Yeah,
you know what I
definitely.
mean? So that shit right there. So that's why I watch those Steve Harvey videos that I always send you guys, which are funny, whether you want them or not.
Yeah.
But they make me fucking laugh my ass off because that's like my humor.
Yeah.
And so if I watch like 2 or 3 of those, I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
Shout out Steve Harvey. I fuck with Steve Harvey too. I should holler at him.
You shout at him all the time.
Yeah, I do. I love Steve Harvey.
So since we're not doing Danny asked a question, can I do Cole ask a question? So I go
Cole,
around?
it's our show. You can do the fuck
All
you
right,
want.
cool. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah,
You watching
no,
at home?
fuck off,
This is
Cole.
our fucking show.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start with Danny. Danny, for the listeners, what was your go-to, because today's Flex Friday, whenever we're recording this, what was your go-to arm exercise today?
What was my 100 forehead curls?
Oh.
Biceps only today.
Do you feel like you
go.
have maximum peakness in your biceps?
Oh yeah, for sure. They were screaming.
Is this a new unit shirt you
Screaming
got
number.
going on here today?
No, Daddy likes
Subtle?
Daddy likes that
Yeah.
3/4 sleeve.
Yeah, 3/4 sleeve because
Yeah.
it chokes the bottom of the
Yeah, it
bicep.
chokes it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, AG chokes the forearm.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yo, did you incorporate any triceps today or no?
No triceps today.
Dude,
actually,
come on.
that's actually not true. I did 100 push-ups.
That's false.
100 push-ups.
Okay.
Yeah, which goes to my next question, Corey.
Yes,
How
Cole.
can you give us a your melon update, please? Like what day
Dude,
and how
Your
many push-ups?
melon update?
So-
Because we talked about big melons.
Yes. So
Yeah.
You like
if
B
you
plus-
look at historic pictures of me, Cole.
Yeah.
Now that you asked this, I found a picture the other day I need to send to you guys. Right when I moved to Columbus, so I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe 18 years old. I got skinny arms, skinny legs, and big ass chest, because I was a bench monster when I was a kid, right? And for some reason, I could walk by maybe a dumbbell and my fucking chest would grow. I had good mind-muscle connection. Now, when I got my shoulder hurt, it has taken my melon size down. But I have rehabbed myself. And now, with the added 200 push-ups per day, my melon size is increasing. So not only the volume from the top, so if I ever have a beater on them, I have great cleavage.
Nice.
But it's like the underbelly of the pec now is tightening up. And I'm like, Stella is getting her groove back.
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
telling you that, like, I am going to be so fucking yoked, because I'm going to get to, like, I think 300 to 500 push-ups every day. And
Yeah.
then when I bench something nasty, people are gonna look. They're gonna just be fucking disbelief, Danny. And then they're gonna say, "This motherfucker again." That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
This motherfucker again.
Uh-huh.
And I wear them out so much they give up.
Oh.
This motherfucker again.
Yeah.
Melon
Well,
size.
So
increasing.
yeah, just real quick,
Yes.
let's start a scale.
Harvest.
We'll update this weekly.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 69, how fucking jacked do you feel now?
Oh, I'm still on the low end. I'm probably 12 and a half.
12 and a half
Because
out
I
of
see
69.
in my head what's going to happen.
Gotcha.
And I've experienced it a little bit in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean when I go full 69,
Oh,
shit gets
man.
real.
Oh man, you at home better watch out.
Full motherfucking send 69.
Yes. All right. That's good. All right.
Wonderful.
Now, Dier, right? So,
Jeez.
for the people who don't know, Bruce and Pablo are about to take on New York City, right? I'm just curious,
yeah.
who's the number one person at NFT NYC that we'll be going to that you're excited to meet or connect with? Do you have anyone particular? Any projects?
And can we tag them on social with this clip?
Yes. No?
I'm excited for the. This is gonna sound absolutely ridiculous for the
Yeah?
viewers back home. I'm
Okay.
getting this up on my phone.
Just say it.
I'm
The
excited.
goblin fuck.
No, I'm excited for
The furries.
No furries. There will be no furries at NFT NYC.
I'm excited for the Sappy Seals
Yeah.
Okay, I know that. I've seen you tweet about
after party.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Because it doesn't start so very late. I know Cole saw, and Cole was like, "Bro, it doesn't
Cole
even
needs
start
a
so
nap.
Dude,
What time does it start at?
like 11 or something."
it's going to be a wild
It is
wild
New
week
York
in
City, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun.
I'm
Yeah.
excited though to just meet all the NFT people and network and just meet all these people that you see their tweets and
Yeah.
they're just straight shit posting or just straight posting memes.
Yeah.
And I need to put a face
Yeah.
to those people.
I really like how we're going outside the box here, because one,
Smart
like,
for you
we're
guys.
very daring to even go inside of the NFT space, but now we're meeting with all the NFT like dudes basically.
You could be like one of the 5 families, guys.
And girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And girls, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, is there any, like, hot NFT
Oh
chicks?
yeah, dude. Big market there.
So I'm
Big
excited
market.
to meet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trey. Shout out Trey.
We're just gonna be ultra in it. If you thought
Yeah.
we weren't ultra in it before, we're
Yeah.
about to be ultra in it.
Nah, this is so smart for you guys. Like, why not? This is like, it's almost like if I didn't go to like a big fitness event, like why wouldn't I? You guys like have to be there.
Our goal is to eventually where we are putting on
Correct.
the events. So
That's smart.
we're going to go there, connect, and be like, "Oh, you want to come visit Ohio?
Yeah.
Let's go."
Now there's a Midwest event then.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
That's fucking smart.
big plans, but yeah, I'm excited to meet all the Littles guys. I think Littles guys, the Atom Bomb squad I just got into. I'm excited to meet those dudes because we've made a lot of very good connections. Like there's a lot of dudes who are like my NFT homies that I'm always checking in with to see what going on and stuff like that. So I'm excited to meet those dudes.
There's no way that by you guys putting yourself out there like this to go connect in a place you're like unfamiliar with, that you don't come back with probably even way more than you even think you can. Like every time I go do stuff like that, I come back and go think, why don't I do that more? Because it's hard to get out of your comfort zone to go travel, to make all those changes, to do that, and you're early in the process still. Like, but you guys are so deep in it, it ain't gonna be hard for you guys to be in there networking, and you're already so good at the other things you do. See, that's what no one understands about you guys yet. Not only business, but the other skills that you have, and together the skills that you have. There's gonna be some heavy hitters that are gonna say, can't wait for these guys. They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that youth and the drive and the understanding, it's big for you guys. And people are going to pick up on it. They should. Or they should just listen to this. You guys can market it, run it on a fucking Instagram ad or something.
Facts.
Yeah. All right. Sounds pretty good. We good?
It was a good episode.
Yeah. Roundtable Podcast. I'm your boy Corey G. At Small Armz Danny. At Trey Speedin, the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak. Brought to you by MaxedUpperMuscle.com. We are out.